But the truth is, over time, it would be a trap. It may feel safe today. Comfort usually kills your growth very slowly. Seriously. So these are 4 signs that if you're experiencing today, you are stuck in your comfort zone. So don't wait until your comfort zone becomes your prison. Marhaba, and how's it going, everyone? And welcome back to Yuwab, your place to get you going and thrive, not only at work, but also life. I'm your host, Saeed Al-Ghafri. Thank you for being with me. This really keeps me going and motivates me to do more of these episodes. And thank whoever shared this episode with you. And remember, if this episode resonates well with you, share it with someone who may find it useful. Today, we're going to talk about comfort zones. And, I was wondering, how could we stay all this time and not made an episode about the old comfort zone? We all love it. We all love our comfort zone. Now, think of comfort zone as a place where it could be really dangerous because it's your old environment, you're used to it, and it's your comfort zone. But the truth is, over time, it would be a trap. It may feel safe today. This is what people think. But it's usually a trap tomorrow or the day after. This saying, every time that echoes into my mind, that is, what brought you here won't take you forward. This usually echoes in my mind whenever I feel uncomfortable. When I feel uncomfortable, I know that I'm stepping out of that comfort zone. Or like they say, I'm now outside the box. I've heard it a few years ago. And I was like, you know what? This is actually true. But the first obstacle and the most challenging one is leaving that old environment and that beautiful, beloved comfort zone. Think about all the people around you that you may know who never left their comfort zone. Where are they today? I'm sure that most of them have been in the same job or same condition for maybe over 15 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case is. They may hate it so much, but they're okay with that. They are in the same routine, same habits, same circle. Look at yourself now. On the other hand, you'll be like, I can't be like that. I can't. I want to develop. I want to have a legacy. You can't really see yourself doing that. Comfort usually kills your growth very slowly. Seriously. As people, as human beings, we're used to comfort zone. Think of the last time I usually run, and my comfort zone is usually 5 kilometers. And every time I'm thinking about adding that, let's say, 200 meter or 300 meter, I think about all the pain and all the muscle soreness I'm going to have the next day. So I end up not doing it. Or maybe you walk into a room, big one, plenty of people. What's the normal reaction of people? They go to people whom are very much having the same values, or maybe speaking the same language, or dressing the same way as they are. It's normal. We are accustomed to basically our comfort zone. Let me share with you a story. This was very much something I wasn't comfortable with at all. When I did my coaching certification, it was actually virtual. We were 50 students, different backgrounds, different countries, you name it, all over the globe. most of us did not speak English as a first language. It was a second language. It was virtual, and no one is allowed to have the camera off. And throughout the session, we were asked to break into groups of, let's say, 4 or 5, and then we would start coaching people. And then ultimately, what happens is that, let's say I'm a coach, and maybe someone is observing me. And after the session, you get this uncomfortable feedback. And honestly, when you basically walk into that specific condition, like me now, I'm into this session and I'm coaching, it's uncomfortable for me, really uncomfortable. And then you get that feedback and you get all that and you get all this. But that feeling tells you that you are growing. You are getting better at where you are. So these are 4 signs that if you're experiencing today, you are stuck in your comfort zone. The first one is you feel you are busy and not growing. You are basically static. Yes, you are active on a daily basis, but deep down, you are not really moving forward. Think of it as someone who's clocking in at 8 a.m. in the morning in the office and then leaving at 5 p.m. They leave, drive back home, and sleep. It's the same thing. That's sign number 1. Sign number 2, you don't like change and you're afraid of it. I remember a lot of people. I remember one guy who was like, Saeed, well, I want to change this time. This time I'm very serious and all this and all that. And then we meet, we discuss and all that. And every time they have the chance to change, they can't. They're just afraid. They don't really see themselves changing. They're really terrified. They don't want to add or delete any step in whatever they're doing. You know, I remember one time I had a personal coach and he's like, you know, we're like bench pressing. And I'm skinny, but again, I love the gym. And he's like, Saeed, add this 2.5 kg plate. It's very small, by the way. But mentally, you're like, oh, if I add it, I won't be able to lift that weight. But guess what? That's just mental. That you are stuck and you're not going to add that in your process. So that's sign number 2. Sign number 3, you always downgrade your ambition. You'll always be like, oh, that's enough for me. I should not really change. The truth of the matter is, if I do it, what's going to change? You basically would become very much lazy. And, you know, back to my example, when I was lifting weight, my trainer used to tell me, Saeed, it's always mental. It's always mental. It's really a mind game usually. And this is what happens when you downgrade your ambition. You become really lazy. If you're in that, then you are stuck in your comfort zone. The 4th sign is you are really surrounded by the old environment. You're just there. Same people, same place, same routine, same habits. And when you reflect, it's exactly the same thing. You're not going to basically be outside the box. You're not going to basically walk away from your comfort zone. Natural, because you're in the same thing. So this is sign number 4. Now, Saeed, how can we really break out from this? You know, I am very much of a person who is not in a favor of our comfort zone because I love growing. I love to see people growing. And I'm sure a lot of people want to grow. So step number 1, look at your environment. That's the 4th sign that we said. Look at your environment. Start there. Because if you really want to basically step away from your comfort zone, look around. Where do you live? Where do you work? Are you in a place where it will prompt you to be outside of that comfort zone? Will it basically push me forward? Is it the same? Let me give you an example on this. Let's say you have an idea, a very important thing, very much innovative idea. Now, if you are basically surrounding yourself with people who are not innovative, they're just gonna basically drown you down and then you're not gonna continue. Or let's say you are in a place which really doesn't prompt that innovative idea to happen. It's exactly something, let's say you are at work, for example. You're trying to do this innovative idea in a workplace. And then you go to your manager and your manager is like, probably that will not work. It's not going to help anyone else. So naturally, you're going to give up. You're going to stay in the same comfort zone. So you'll have to change the environment. As simple as that. Nothing major around it. The second step is seek discomfort on purpose. I know. It's not really something we're accustomed to have. Take a challenge. When you take a challenge, it may scare you a little bit. It may sound as a new skill, maybe something. You know, the feeling when I had a new role in my career, it was scary actually. It wasn't that easy. Or moving from a company to a new company. It's a new place. I'm not telling you do it. But you may do it in a small scale that will not really impact your whole life. Because when you embody that discomfort, you are guaranteed to be growing. As simple as that. Let me give you a simple example. You remember I mentioned to you that when you walk into a room full of people, you are going to go to people who are speaking your language or they are from the same country. Try to be with a circle who are completely different than you. Listen, you may sound as if you are an idiot or you don't belong, but once you basically embody that discomfort, you are now stepping outside of your comfort zone and you're going to learn a lot in that process. Try that. Try to have a circle with a circle of people whom are sharing the same, let's say, values, ideas, and try to have others. And then you're going to thank me later because you're really going to grow this way. So it's all about, eventually, you're going to see that you're not able to hold a conversation for that specific thing. Let's take this second example. Let's say you're afraid of doing presentations or maybe a podcast. The first time you try it, it will really terrify you. It will really not be that easy. But when you try it, you're going to learn why. You're going to grow. You're going to improve. You're going to go ahead for that opportunity. And you are guaranteed to be better next time. Or you are basically, and this is like my favorite, when you travel to a new place. Or let's say you're accustomed to travel with your friends or family. Try to travel alone this time. In a new place. New environment. It's not going to be easy. You're going to basically have coffee by yourself. But in that process, you're going to learn how to use your time wisely. Maybe become much more creative. Having an ideas that comes because when you're with someone else, those are really blocked. Try that. The third step is when you go through step number 1 and step number 2, you're going to redefine what is really safe for you. Because safety is not the limits that defines what comfort and what is not. When you go into a new territory, that limit will widen. It will be much different than where you are today. And that's the most important thing. You're going to redefine that limit. You're going to adapt, grow, and become much more better. So here is a question for you. What one comfort in your life that's actually holding you back? Pick one, just one. Write it on a piece of paper. And next to it, what's one tiny or small, uncomfortable step that you can take this week, tomorrow, to move forward. And hear this out. Comfort zones don't really knock doors and then you open the door and they announce themselves. They really whisper. They really go through that specific wall that you have in a room. And they basically tell you like, listen, man, we're staying and it's fine. And you don't need to do anything else. But that whisper and that condition would really kill your dreams quietly. So keep that in your mind. So don't wait until your comfort zone becomes your prison. Step out while you still can. All right? If you know someone who's really enjoying their comfort zone, and I know a lot, and I'm sure you know a lot, and you think that they can thrive and they can do better, share this episode with them. You really never know what could happen to them. This may change their life. And thank you so much for tuning to this episode. Until next time, keep experimenting, stay clear on your path of growing, and I'll see you next time. مع السلامة.